So, welcome to the Staffordshire Quantum's podcast. We've gone professional, haven't we?
Yes, we are in very salubrious studios in Wolverhampton today. Yeah, and we're ready to go and do our season review. I think this is the wrap-up pod that we were talking about many weeks ago.
Well, to be fair, I think on the way down, we've kind of discussed the content, haven't we, and just tried to figure out what we're going to do.
Yes.
Or the content. Didn't miss that bit.
And then we've sat down and then gone, we'll just talk a bit about the season and see where we go.
I'd got a very intricate bit about the kickoff law comparison between NFL and rugby league, but then what I realised is I didn't actually understand the kickoff rule in either of those two competitions, so that's been axed, really.
That's great work for your second season running a rugby league side.
Well, I was thinking, Chris, that you in particular, you do know a bit about the NFL as well, don't you?
I do, yeah.
So would you go NRL before NFL? Or what
NRL, top sport in the world.
Then NFL.
Then NFL.
Where does netball sit in that priority list?
I lose my star players shortly before important games to netball, so it's gone right down.
Star players wasn't me, obviously.
So I guess me and Matt are on this every week. So if most weeks, I mean, I even dialed in from the mean streets of Benidorm one week.
You did.
But Chris, do you want to just sort of introduce yourself to the audience one more time?
I thought Chris has been on before.
Has he been on more than I have?
No, not Chris has got the proper setting, to be fair. So
Chris has got the pedigree, hasn't he?
Well, at one point,
no, it's not on this. No.
At one point, I was going around Chris's house to film a podcast.
Yeah, you've done me here.
This is similar actually to your. There's just as well. They're not quite. There is a little bit more LED lights here, I'd say, than in your.
That's it. I need to get some more LED lights cleared up in that.
So less flat screen monitors.
Parts, yeah.
So overall, it was Chris's 40th birthday party the other week. Surprise! I missed the surprise.
He had a fantastic time, didn't he?
I can remember most of it,
but
mostly until the Quantums took over the bar and made me drink
lots of horrible drinks.
Lots of horrible drinks.
The only thing is, might not remember this, but your assessment of the season expressed whilst you were drunk at your own 40th. it was dismay at how we played the game all season.
We do not play it in a traditional league way, which does gripe me a little bit. We are definitely a lot of union boys in a league team, but putting our bodies on the line and learning the game as quick as possible. So can't fool the lads' heart and at all. But we need some good rugby knowledge in there for the.
I thought this year we had a better team than last year. I think the individual were better, but I think the opposition got better.
We also brought in more players who, I think for second year running, you want to keep on bringing players. I think on the first season we could have easily just sort of just stopped there and we would have been playing with the same players, but we've still brought through 4 or 5 new players across the season.
More than that, I would say.
Definitely more. I think we were playing with a lot more new players this season, weren't we?
But what was I guess what I'm trying to get at, what was your frustration? I get that you would say, but what specifically was it? What were they doing that you were going on about the fact that we all season and we only played
I mean, one of them did. So I have a thing at especially when coaching rugby league, that I would really like completed sets. Yes. Completed sets win games for me.
And how many games into the season did it take us to complete our first set?
I believe we were on the second or third game before we actually.
It definitely wasn't the second game because that was
as bad. I thought that the second game. I thought we did complete a couple of sets. Didn't score many tries. Scored 1 try when I looked through the results.
I know what Martin's talking about. There was a 2-game period where I think we failed to complete a set.
We definitely didn't complete one of Rebels.
I think I wore out my voice just shouting, just complete a set. I want to kick the ball.
In terms of the season, the successful parts of the season, I mean, you touched on it, Jack. I think you're being slightly pessimistic there. I think the sheer numbers of people... as I said to a couple of the teams that we played when we fixed up the fixtures, we've got the quantity, we just haven't got the quality. But the quantity was there. That last game of the season, we had 27 players kitted up. We didn't have we got 22, 23 kits in the kit bag, and we didn't have enough for them. So the numbers down were good.
I don't think we had good numbers as well at the start of last season as well. I mean, we had like 35 players on the sideline for that first game against Telford last season.
That's always going to be a novelty factor, I think. So, I mean, I do think the numbers were good.
I thought the thing we did this year is we've lent into Staffordshire a bit more, haven't we, than we did previously. So even with the kit, and Big Ben was saying we should keep the colours, because we talked about in the car down, didn't we, about the kits this year. And across the Midlands, everyone seems to have gone black with a different
coloured V. Whereas, I mean, we got the new kit bag somewhere out. Is it?
Well, it's behind you. It's going to make a right tinkling noise, look.
It is. But
what? They're going mad about the sound quality area there.
They won't be able to. So what we did is we.
What's it now?
Yeah, that's all right. That's what do they call that when you go?
ASMR.
Unboxing. I've seen Michael Barrymore do it on TikTok. Right. So that was the kit, which it's got a distinctive V on it. A lot of people have said it was like Papua New Guinea, but it's also very similar to the Staffordshire. It literally is the Staffordshire flag. Is those
inverted? Isn't it?
Inverted is those colours. So I think that we had definitely had. I don't know, that gave us a bit more of an identity, and it meant that we looked distinctive as we were taking our thumpings on the pitch. We did so. We did so in style.
Great doing it, didn't we? Yeah.
We looked great.
But I suppose when you go through that though, that kit wasn't the idea, was it? So at one point we was getting spanced around the group to go black and purple, lightning blue, purple was another one. And to be fair, the purple training tops did look mint. I think we could have had the purple training top. I think we would have.
Because somebody was that you, Jack? We got him designed by like ChatGPT or something like that.
Well, other AIs are available, but yeah, I did use a picture AI to sort of pull together some ideas, and one of them did look pretty cool. It was kind of like honing in on the quantum side of things, and it was like a bit of a spacey theme on it as well. Yeah. So that was quite cool. But
in the end, we went for
our kit provider can't do things that good a quality, I don't think. So
no, he did do a version of it, and it didn't quite look like what it was meant to.
So do you think our other problem was it was very Midlands Hurricanes, wasn't it? So
yes,
we didn't want
the purple,
yeah. And when you're trying to go around for different colours, you kind of think of colours you can't have. I think now anything in any new teams in the Midlands can't go with anything black.
No, that's got to be banned. Yeah. I mean, we turned up for that.
Worcester Rebels went for white last season, and that lasted about 2 minutes before.
You can see what
it just constantly looked dirty. They're not quite like St Helens, who can afford new shirts every week or whatever. So
yeah, I think they did call that out on the podcast, didn't they? On the Rugby League Outsiders one, saying that it was a bad choice going white.
White is always going to be a bad choice, but then I don't know. Black is just. I think it's just too boring, isn't it?
Well, I can't say the kit was bad because I think they pipped us to the kit that I wanted anyway.
Yes, because then you said that's what it looked like. So I mean, I think the identity part was a big bit of it this season. Getting the numbers down, getting some cool stash. It's got to be a
bit of a rebrand as well on the logo.
Bit of a rebrand.
Have a rebrand, yeah.
And really, really leaned into wanting players, saying that we are the rugby league team for Staffordshire. And I think that helped us certainly drag in, some of those guys from outside of the sort of the rugby union clubs that were, where we were drawing from last season. We pulled some guys in from Stafford, some guys from Stoke, and that was good. And we sort of hope to do slightly more of that. And if we can get some home games, move those fixtures around the different venues in Staffordshire. So we're the true sort of Staffordshire team.
Definitely a few players as well who have updated their LinkedIn and saying that they now play for the Staffordshire's county rugby league team rather than actually just Staffordshire Quantum.
This year.
Are you the player that's done this?
I'm a trendsetter.
I just to go back to your point, I'd really enjoyed playing at different venues, but treating them as our home ground.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
It's a shame we couldn't get the Cannock game off the ground this year.
Yeah, we
It
had.
was meant to be
We had a
played.
training session now.
Yeah,
That's good.
And was looking to play 2 teams as well for the first time this season. We were going to get 2 teams out because the week before we played Telford, we had lots of players, I thought, and then all of a sudden we were trying to get the 2 teams out and it just didn't quite happen. I don't think it was the week before we played Telford. It was the week before we played, and we had lots of not too of any players.
Aston, because we had possibly our best first half of the season. Then we had to make too many substitutions, really. And then we got battered a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the one thing that we didn't have to confront, and I think we're actually unique in the Midlands with this, in rugby league circles, maybe not Telford so much, but that all of that stuff that affected all those other teams with the rugby union season stretching into May, well, because we kind of also control the Rugby rugby union team that sort of is the sort of driving force behind the Quantums, we were just able to say, well, we ain't bothering with that. So we didn't enter that competition, which, we said, well, once you get to the middle of April, it's rugby league time, stopped rugby union training, had our last rugby union match at Rugby, I think, on the 5th of April, somewhere around then, and then turned it into the rugby league season, whereas a lot of the other clubs, including even some Midlands Prem clubs, were sort of waiting to get into May before they could get there.
And to be fair, we weren't too. I mean, we had some players from Cannock and Stafford and so on and forth, and we weren't actually game wise. We weren't affected by not having people down because of cut runs and that kind of stuff. Training for the first few weeks, we could see that there was Cannock, for example, were concentrating on their cut run for a little bit as well, weren't they? That kind of stuff. So training at numbers and non-Rouge players was a bit thin on the ground at some of the initial training sessions.
Was the schedule decided by? Because it was a lot better this year.
He was like just crap in his hand. He just threw it at the board and just decided we were playing.
Seaweed sticks, yeah.
I mean, he decided to play like 6 away games on the bounce. I'll never know.
So I meant they weren't so spread out to the point where you basically get no break before the union season starts.
I thought
stuff like that. I thought it was very.
Oh, that was all right. That bit of it was good. I think that bit of it was good.
The 4 away game. Is it 4 away games in a row?
I think it was.
Might have been.
And then nobody
5.
came to us for the home games.
No.
And then what we did, of course, well, it meant early on, it pretty much, because of that, I think that's right, that we were reliant on the Rugby players for the Midlands Nines was pretty much, I think it's...
No, because I think we had quite a good spread this year.
To that, maybe. No, for the first game, I'm saying. For the Nines, and then the season opener.
Did we play the Nines first or the season opener? So
It was the Nines first.
and wasn't the season first?
So because I boycott all Nines now.
I've got a terrible memory.
Don't believe it's a sport. Sorry for the big one.
I enjoyed it, and I got a load of stash out of it. So, and a lanyard, which was pretty.
Didn't you get like an employee of the day or something like that?
No.
Pitch side assistant.
I did a bad job at it, actually. The guy had to keep messaging me for the scores that I was meant to be updating and which pitches everyone.
Too busy watching rugby.
You will not get invited for the next one.
No, I don't think you will. That was a good way to kick it off, though. Apart from the fact it was like colder than Greenland that day, that was a good fun way to get it kicked off. And then, of course, we had Quantumania, the biggest event in rugby league. It made it into the RFL social media pages when we had that the Pyro show.
I mean, that was just a pipe dream, wasn't it? To be fair, we said to Rob, we want to have this extravagant day, but our plan was to keep it, low tech, tin pot.
Yes.
And then before you know it, Rob's like, we promised them action.
We promised them firework, pyro, and then it's sort of, Rob, of course, being Rob Castles, is our principal sponsor of owner, along with his wife Hayley, of Quantum Comms. I think Hayley's slightly long-suffering, and I'm not
Rob's
quite
like
sure.
Will Ferrell in that film, Semi-Pro. But he owns a basketball team and plays in it. That first season especially, he was very, very semi-pro.
Did he play? He stripped up for the actual first game of the season this time, didn't he? I don't know if he came through the. I don't know if he came through the tunnel.
Most cigarettes smoked on the sideline.
Last season he did that. Last season he was smoking the fags, and Baz was like, "You can't play him." He's like, he sponsors the team.
He does what he does. Yeah,
He's got to do it. I mean, that Pyro show, also what made it even more sort of, I don't know, Tim Pot in some respects, was the fact that the guys with the Pyro show got there about 20 minutes before the match kicked off. So, and he's saying, we need so much space. We ran out of extension leads. So I'm running around trying to get extension leads. I'm not the most technical man in the world. We got it all plugged in. It was virtually us, and the referee saying, right, they've got to kick this game off now. And literally the guys from Sherwood were stood up waiting to sort of run on. And it was almost like, and then he tested it out.
I mean, quick question there is, how technical do you need to be to use an extension cable?
Well, you've got to find the extension cable in the first place, and then find something that you can plug it into. Yeah. The only issue was I was in such a panic. There's all these bouncy castles, or at least a couple of bouncy castles. Kids are on them. I unplugged that and put the Pyro in it. They started to collapse. Thankfully, none of the kids got suffocated.
Luckily, the bouncing castle. Not kids suffocated in Staffordshire.
I was more worried about a shed behind him burning down. And he had trees right next to him, didn't he?
And fundamentally, the church was right behind it as well.
The other thing that made me laugh was the two guys who were running it are sort of nice enough guys, but the sort of guys who, you know, real big fans of Robot Wars, and they enter it and sort of stuff like that. And he was saying, all right, so what do you want to do? Every time Quantum scored, do you want me to put the fireworks, set the fire flames on?
So this one I should say, though. So this was Saturday, 11th of May.
Yes.
Do you want me to say the score?
You go for it.
Staffordshire Quantum 6, Sherwood Wolverhampton 56.
Yes.
So that's not a tale of the whole game, I don't think. So for about 20 minutes, I think we was in that game.
It was 6-6 until 30 minutes in.
We then started to get the injuries sort of...
very quickly when...
Jay Graham took a knock to the head and he came off, didn't he? And then
Ben Durham.
Shoulder came out,
One sort of proper northerner.
So Ben Durham got picked up by the Staffordshire Quantums, by the Rugby League Outsiders podcast, heard it last season, this season, played the game. The first game he played, then was injured for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Though we did then pick up what I'd say was a team manager role he then took on, and a bit of coaching.
It was fantastic. He was a great cheerleader. And the man from Leeds sent us out of the world to play rugby league.
Well, next season he's going to do the coaching course, and I think he's going to you guys are going to do the coaching next season.
We might actually get him to play a game.
Up to you guys, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'd love it for me and Ben to take a role on the correction team.
It was a great day, and the best bit about it, actually, I thought, was after the game, field was full. Rugby, there were kids having from Sherwood, from Rugeley, having a sort of game of rugby on the pitch, which was always a great thing to see, turned into a bit of a football match and whatever afterwards. But, you know, all of that was fantastic. I mean, there was lots of people there. Food was great. We got
slip and slide.
Slip and slide was out. Matt always objects to it, but he actually embraced it this weekend. We got it out again. But
well,
it's good.
What do we talk about this week's social then? So I suppose we've talked about the extravagant social that we had for the Rugby League.
Yeah.
First rugby union social that Rugeley's had.
Yeah.
What did we do?
We got a 4,000 litre. Is it 4,000?
No, it was 12. I think it was 1,200 litres, 12 foot by 12 foot paddling pool.
Yes.
I'm absolutely fuming. We play a whole summer season together, no pool. What? The winter rugby union season starts.
It's whether it lasts.
Got a picture of you and the lads in the pool having beers after.
I looked at myself in that picture and I thought to myself, God, I look very old. When you're getting old and your hair's starting to thin, when you get it wet, it just does not look good. I thought to myself, you are not only a fat man, you are a fat, balding man.
It's okay. It's time. That's when you grow a mohawk.
And only a month ago, you had a six-pack because you was playing rugby league.
That's true.
Now, I'm a man.
Where the season sort of went from not quite bad to worse, but it definitely got worse, was the following week. I don't think you could even call it a rugby league squad, could you? That we took to Worcester.
Rebels.
They were a strong team that day, I thought. They were stronger than when we played them last season.
They also had 30 players and we went with 16.
I think it's one of them things. I think a lot of teams would have seen the team sheet and just thought, we'll have a week off.
But not us.
But not us. We're gluttons for punishment.
Every other travelling team you mean?
Well, I think you got to play your away games. You got to lose some, haven't you? I'm not.
We definitely lost that one, unfortunately.
But I think it puts us in a good stead, though. At least if we've got a game on, chances are we're playing it.
Character building, you would say.
Yeah. Well, it's not character building for young Dougie who got knocked out
Yes.
in the closing minutes.
Yeah, he did. Unfortunately, I had to. There's a great picture of me where I'm asking him, "Do you remember your name?" And he did, actually. To be fair, so we of course then had the compulsory stand down period, and he did not play for another 21 days after that. So that's because we comply with those rules. And
A disclaimer.
that's a disclaimer. And moving on now, who do we play next after that? Huh?
Oh, that was to be fair,
This was the best games.
This is probably one of our better games of the season. I think it was quite close. Talford versus Staffordshire Quantum's over Talford.
Yeah,
We picked Henry up then for that game.
That was Henry's first game, yeah.
Which was a big boost, wasn't it? He's a decent build.
That was, if I remember rightly, they tried to play rugby union against us. And
Well, it obviously worked.
And we actually played rugby league against them.
Well, it's a good
So I was
bit
quite
of
proud of our performance.
It was like the national Newport culture were down the road. A lot of those lads played in that game for them, and they're sort of championship winning or championship runner up. And I was extremely paranoid. And I said to the Telford guy, and the Telford guy was, I'll say to everyone who listened, and the Telford guy said, listen, we ain't about stitching anyone up at all. And to be fair, they didn't, did they?
No.
Because you went and explained to them as well before, and listen, there's some guys who are only, on the subs bench, and we'd only want them to get 10 minutes max at the end. And sure enough, they lent us a good few, didn't they? So to make
It was a good game. It was a good weekend, that was.
I think they've got a great organisation over at Telford. They've obviously done the double, won the silverware twice in a row. And from my mate.
Are we calling the double their 2 victories over each season against us? Or?
No, the silverware victories. My mate that plays for him, Jack Timmis, he says they're a great bunch and they run it really well. So I'm sure that they'll grow that dev team and bring more lads in the Midlands into rugby league.
What was that followed by then? I'm losing
Well, I
track.
was just going to say that them games in May, against Talford and against Sherwood, you're kind of guaranteed to turn up and playing on.
Yes.
So it's always nice to get them teams out. What we should say really is that Sherwood did get us out of the hole of that game because we was meant to play in another team and they couldn't make it. So Sherwood dug us out of that hole and turned up. So we had the fireworks and we were just us running
Yes.
out.
When they dug us out of the hole, then they put us in our hole.
Yeah.
Well, we can't really moan about them being good at rugby.
I'm not moaning about them.
No,
They did us a solid, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they did. No, they did do us a solid.
Then the week after then, Aston Warriors 64, Staffordshire Quantums 26. But then I don't think they should
difference.
But I don't think that should come as any surprise. Aston at home. Aston Rugby Union are a decent team. Just got promoted.
Yeah.
They're strength throughout the team out there. They're not a weak team. And then
But we were ahead at half time.
Were we?
Yeah. 26-20 or something.
That was probably, there were some bits we just lost it, didn't we, in the second
I think
half?
it helps when you can bring 8 players on who are no worse than the 8 players you bring.
Oh, yeah. They had amazing substitutions.
They had a great bench.
We did not.
And then we got on the road again, and this was actually one of my favourite.
Can I just say,
What?
you were very surprised that Rich Squires was actually right bloke, wasn't you?
Yes, I thought
And you couldn't stop saying it.
afterwards.
He's going, they said he was a nice guy. I didn't think he would be. He was. Martin judges everyone by his own standards.
Yeah, if I sometimes decide to not like people that I don't think I will not like. I didn't think I'd like him, but
So it's not like Staffordshire Rugby Union where everyone hates Martin.
well, no, this is Matt's got a theory about this.
Man, it's starting, isn't it? He's already started to go down that route. It's always in the WhatsApp group chats. He starts the arguments. Eventually, it'll turn into face-to-face arguments.
Yes, and I think in say rugby union circles, I'll say that there's that twat from Rugeley, and I think in rugby league. We didn't have that last season, but I think that's just
Now
about
it's just better, isn't it? Now it's that twat from Staffordshire.
I'm like the twat from that representing a whole county of being a twat.
If he was better at rugby, you could have been that twat from the Midlands, couldn't you?
There's definitely a lot of eye rolls in the Midlands Rugby League chat, I think, now, when you comment, especially when you give throwaway comments.
You can't discuss the WhatsApp, and you can't discuss private WhatsApp chats in public. That's breaking the confidentiality of WhatsApp.
I'll say at one point, Martin was very much, everyone thinks I'm a nice guy. I was that nice guy from Staffordshire, and he slowly turned it, and then I realised just what he's showing his true colours after a whole year.
Oh, I did it early on. And I know why it was, but I was calling them all out for not some of the teams that didn't compete in that Midlands Nines early on. I was like, where were you, all you twats?
I always have a mental breakdown.
So yeah, I think over the course, by this time next year, I think everyone will just think I'm a complete and utter knob.
Well, they'll just know.
They'll know me.
They'll just know you better.
So we got unlucky in the next game because
we did not get unlucky. We got screwed over by our own bench. Is what we got in that game.
What's this one?
Oh, this is New Ravens.
Oh no, sorry. I think I
even skipped coming on our own podcast that way.
And this is
You're furious, I know.
This is 44-36, and this is where we brought off all our better subs and then gave them to the opposition.
I mean,
and put all on.
I have never seen any team I've ever played for in 21 seasons. I have never seen us lose the ref by a fight by our own two players. One of them that we've given to the other team. They start a fight together, and the ref just completely loses all faith in our player, even though it's also our player that is punching him on the other team.
But then also, what also didn't help them though is that then they went down to 12 men, and Matt's comments were, because he's one of our players, just put them back to full complement, just put them back to 13 again.
Yeah, you let them have the yellow card.
But then we
got a yellow card.
So we were playing
it was
13
me
against 12.
And the favour was not returned.
we genuinely were leading that game till like 4 minutes to go. It was.
It was like 2 tries.
I was speaking to your man. Go on,
Jason.
Jason, of course, Jason. And he said to me, I think after the game, might have been after, he said he never quite seen a game quite like it.
They've got their star player, a big lad, who's also got some good feet.
The 9, those, the great player.
Oh, well, yeah, he's hard to catch, but the big lad that can carry, but also put a step in it, he's good. And he said in our final match, because they turned up, played for some other teams, I don't know how we won it. I had to be told we won at the end, and I had no idea.
Victory snatched from the defeat snatched from the jaws of victory. It was.
I mean, also the person we gave to them, Jippo, we'll say him out. He was also rallying them, and was actually probably.
I think when he got into,
he took a bit of a leadership role on the pitch when he playing for them. He was.
I think Goggles is that kind of person that you would rally your troops against.
Yeah, I think in the future we'll just lose a player as well rather than one of our players, because I don't know what happened to him.
that was the one that got away, really. But it was followed up by.
Are we blaming you solely for that defeat?
Partially, because you said that I was in charge of the subs in that game. The problem was we had too many subs that week. And players were sort of subbing themselves off when they'd gone a couple of runs and then they'd sub themselves off.
I mean, that week as well, the game was also postponed for 25 minutes because New Ravens took 2 concussions in the space of 5 minutes and an ambulance was called.
You also deny this, Jack, but that week you wouldn't come back on the pitch because until there was somebody who were going to sub off who got a better
I got yellow carded.
Yes, but when you were due to come back on after the yellow card, I was like, come back on, swap for whoever. And you're like, only if he's double XL or above. Which I don't think that if you look at Warrington, I don't think Sam Burgess has to, when he's saying to his charges.
I don't think they need the 4XL shirt swaps.
It's a 3
with a medium.
It's 3XL actually.
Sorry, 3XL.
Well, yeah.
I should say, I was listening to an interesting thing on Instagram, probably one of them videos. Yeah. He was saying that the NRL is not an elite sport. Because
who?
Because if it was an elite sport, they wouldn't have their bellies hanging over their waistband, have no players on that. What's your thoughts on that, Bristow?
I mean, the NRL is probably the fastest paced rugby league we have in the world. I don't want to make a claim or anything. So if you're unfit and played in that, you're going to get found out pretty quick.
They're saying it's,
But just because you've got a muffin top.
Not elite.
No, actually, I think it was a more specific point than that. It was sort of saying something like the 100 metres is elite because all you're specialising in is just running in a straight line. Whereas sports like rugby, even the football, all of the football codes, you're almost more of a decathlete insofar as you've got to run fast. You've got to be able to put the tackle.
I thought it was more of for the body fat percentages and whatever else.
Well, there's not.
But I suppose with the boxing, a lot of them top, like, Fury.
Who's got a bit of a belly?
Had a bit of a belly, but at the same time, he's probably one of the top athletes at the time, wasn't he? So,
well, I mean, I don't like to talk about it.
These guys, I've played with them all my life, the 9% body fats, and they run it forward like a truck, but they do not like getting hit. And then you got the guys with the beer bellies who couldn't do it all.
and us skinny blokes do not like the cold as well. So I'll just point that out.
Skinny blokes.
There's only one skinny person in here, mate.
I was the fittest man in Rugby 2005, but it's not something that. Yes, I did.
Have you ever talked about that?
I've never talked about it on the podcast, but I don't like to talk about the great win. But it's for another day. But it's suffice to say,
Maybe today is the day we talk about
the
it.
poster went up at the.
Tell us what the events were.
So it was done in the Rugby Leisure Centre. I'm not even 100% sure it was 2005, but I've been saying it's 2005 all these years, right? So there's this. So they used to have all of these challenges at the gym, and it's like what's that brand of gym equipment called that you get in all the like?
Was it Rogue or something like that?
No, like Lifestyle or something.
Life Fitness.
Life Fitness, yeah. So it's got all those machines. It's got like a treadmill, and you've got like a stepper, and you've got what's that one called?
It's probably not
Cross trainer.
Cross trainer.
It's probably like a
And you've-
CrossFit game.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
it probably was. And you've got a rowing machine.
yeah.
Right. So it's about 5 different of these things. Anyway, in the week leading up to it, so each of them had got a different, it was always a distance you had to do. So you had to do like, I don't know, say on the
Typically
cross
500
trainer,
metres,
it was 2,000 metres. Then on the second thing, it was a step machine. And you had to do however many steps it was. Say it was 100 floors or 100 flights or 40 flights of steps. Basically, I knew someone and he said, what you do is put it up to the maximum volume and it will be quite knackering, but you could do those 100 flights in about 3 minutes. So that's what I did. So I'm then way ahead of everyone in this race, right? I was a bit fit. I'm a bit younger at the time, so a bit fitter generally. So do sort of average scores at the row and then the run at the end. And on the run, I'm sort of aware that if I can finish this run under however many minutes, I'm going to win the whole thing. So I was like there, get it out. Literally, as soon as I finished, hands on the fire escape, went outside, puked up outside. I was that knackered, and it was a great victory. They even put this like little poster up in the gym, which they they subsequently took down because they kept getting asked, did that bloke really win the competition?
I mean,
it was a bad advertisement.
Even the impersonation of you running just then is just comical.
There's a guy who ran marathons.
Yeah, he was
fuming that Martin had won this competition.
and he eventually worked out how I did it. And he said, "Oh, I know what you did." He's still around now. Occasionally, I'll go to
bitter.
He's still bitter about the whole thing. I occasionally go to not very occasionally go to a spin class, and he's there. He's about 16. He's about 60 now. I guess it's
That too.
No, I don't. He's kept doing it the whole time, whereas I didn't. But there we go. Right, on to next game.
29th of June.
Nottingham Outlaws away. We were unlucky here, weren't we?
We were unlucky. We got done dirty.
It was our best. Well,
They have it there every game.
No, but
We were robbed.
well, no, I didn't say we'd
We
done.
had 15 players on the pitch.
Well, one of our games actually, we did play with only 12 men on the pitch at one point.
Well,
we did our rotations wrong.
It was actually not until the next kickoff where the referee questioned it.
I thought that was our best performance. Ben said that was our best performance against Nottingham. So
Well, we had yes.
I mean, every
they-
time we got
Close. They brought on a superstar.
yeah,
they ran through.
their first team match got cancelled morning of, and then they had five first team players that were rotated on and off
I don't
quite
think it was a bad
frequently.
game though. Like as far as games go, it was relatively close for a long period, wasn't it?
we almost scored a wonder try, didn't we, at the end?
We did because we put Matt at half, and
A three person miss pass.
Matt started throwing passes on low tackle counts that I've basically been saying all season not to do.
The tries were on though.
But I mean, some of them came off.
The risk you take. You're a flair player like myself.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I'm thinking this guy's just come out from the second row. He's coming to half. He's not gonna. He's not going to start launching.
Safeties, yeah, just safety play.
Safety play, first pass, 3-man miss pass, on tackle 1 or 2.
Yeah. Right, we had a good crack afterwards. I thought they were like our twin. Their clubhouse and setup is very similar to ours.
A shack.
It's
a shed.
Yes, exactly.
And serving,
we're the same, exactly.
And serving beers in cans.
Yes, exactly. That's what we like. So I thought that was good. Good social afterwards. Some nice food as well. Yeah. Burgers.
You were I know you were definitely angry at that match. So I messaged you about a week later with a meme or a video of like when the coach says something and then the players are like no, and you were still really angry. You were still really angry about it.
Apparently, I get angry a lot. So the guys have been great, but it has been frustrating that we're trying to obviously complete sets and stuff like that.
We still hadn't really completed many sets by this stage. We completed more in that that game. I think
it's tough because I see what Matt's playing. If it's it's on, go for it. Don't be why have any fear when you're playing? But also, it's from my point of view, it's like taking a lot of rugby union boys and showing them that a turnover is a big deal. It's not just you're going to maybe give away a penalty, which is a kick from one. It's 6 tackles going back or 5 tackles going back, and then a kick, and then and that's if you don't give them a new set.
Would you say in rugby league, if you can get into the end zone and force the red zone and force
kicking over the net,
and force a second set of 6, you must surely there score. I don't know, 90% of the time, I reckon.
I mean, I would get to the point where if you can force a dropout, a couple of dropouts even, you're going to knacker that team out to the point where they can't compete in the rest of the game.
You just
at this level on. Yeah, you just pile the pressure on. So sometimes it's not even about scoring. It's just about getting to that end of the set, putting the kick option in there and putting them under pressure. And then they might kick back to you for another 6 sets of defense. And as we found out, defending multiple sets of 6 is horrible.
Yes, we did mention that.
We found out a lot.
One of my disappointing things in that game, I might have said it on one of the earlier pods, is I had to come on in that game, and I walked through the tunnel at the end of the game and heard one of them say, "Robin, I thought we'd got some old players," and there was a guy on their team who was really old as well. That was what made it worse. I enjoyed that. It was good sat out there in the sun afterwards, having some crack. We had a couple of stops on the way back. We went to like a place, like a sort of random carvery restaurant on the A50.
The ones that sell the big cake slices.
Yeah, but also we ate a load of Yorkshire puddings, just ordered the Yorkshire puddings with gravy. And they said...
I just ordered the gin, I don't know.
You didn't participate in that.
But I will say on that point, we have had some amazing socials this season.
Yes.
Sitting in the sun, drinking, that's all about the summer sport. That's what
Jello shots on the minibus.
Jello, Shireen shots on the minibus for our tour to Aston, which is 35 minutes down the road.
Yeah. See, I think we talked about having an actual rugby tour last year, and we've not done it again this year.
We need to do it next year.
We need to get on it.
Yeah.
I've heard you're the man, Bristow, for a social, to organise a social.
I'm banned from tours by the missus at the moment. We'll have to do some sweet talking before I get back on tours.
That's a rugby league tour, it's not the same.
Yeah. Just say it's a different thing.
My last tour was to Dubai Sevens, and it got a bit out of hand. So,
well, rugby league tours, we'll drink orange squash and go for runs.
Yes, more of a fitness
for
thing.
Athletes.
Yeah. We will complete our full set of 6 drinks, which you would approve of wholeheartedly. That actually does that bring us to the last game of the season? Because we then got 2 games which unfortunately couldn't be played, that were at home, which is what I got a lot of crap for. So then I pulled off the heist of the season.
Our plan was to get 4 teams there originally, wasn't it?
Well, I then told all the teams that we were due to be playing. We were always due to be playing Worcester Rebels, and they were coming up. But then I figured if potentially they did drop out, we didn't want to lose that game too. So I invited also New Ravens and Aston. I told them to start with until the week of the game.
Did I hear an interesting rumour that you actually said, guys, you're going to have to play some away games?
No, I didn't say that. I was saying that when I was confirming some of the games.
And then so you guilted them. You guilted them. That's turning up.
No, that's what Rich Squire said to me. You went, I didn't think he was like that. I think he did.
I knew he was like that. No, that wasn't why. They did want to come that week. They all wanted to come, but I'm not sure they were also keen on the 3/4 way that we ended up having. But
was hoping for a 4, wasn't it? Really?
We were really hoping for a 4, and it worked a treat. I also
It's a great day.
Did some good scheduling. We played second, so we were playing then against one of the teams who was
Why giving all
more
our
tight.
secrets on?
Well, we won a game. That's the thing. We won a game, didn't we?
Yeah, 30.
Yeah, but it was the
30,
it was the first game. They hadn't played before that, had they?
They had.
Oh.
I
You just see, again, some great branding as well for that day. Quad series, although it ended up being a tri series, but
Well, we
quad series was definitely better than the word foursome.
We do like the idea of that next year, is having some of them quad tournaments planned in, because then if we do get some dropouts,
Well, and
we
we
can still play.
and we did the three-way tournament the year before against Sherwood and Telford, and that went down a treat again. That was a success. So it's clear to see, and I think we even got recognised by who was a referee, and he said it was a good day as well.
Yeah, he enjoyed it.
Mark said he really enjoyed it and thought it was maybe the way forward for getting fixtures on the belts, especially for those who.
I quite like the idea of a cup competition where you play each round at the same place. So you might have a winner play winner, loser play loser, and then the next week, a couple of weeks later, those teams who are won play somewhere else. Teams who are lost play somewhere else. Have eventually at the end of the season
A final day.
day.
You could almost do something very similar as well, where you play nines and do it at the beginning of the season before it all kicks off, and have a bit of a party and a stage. And
No, that's a tour. That's a tournament format, isn't it? But I think the way of
a
making
40
sure,
minute half.
because the thing is, if you plan to have 4 teams there, if 3 teams show up, you can still make that
still do
into
it,
a thing. And indeed, if only 2 teams show up, you can
Even better.
Even better. You just have a regular match. And if 3 of the teams show up, but some of them have got less numbers, again, it works. So I just think that, especially the thing that makes the difference is with the travelling involved. And I'm told that in different parts of the world, like in rugby union, in say Texas, with the fast journeys that they have to do, that is quite a common thing. They'll have we're going here this Saturday. That's where the match is going to be on. And lots of clubs assemble there, and they almost work out the games that are going to be played, when they're there. And I think that we could do something.
Oh, you don't have to go that far. I mean, wheelchair rugby, they obviously have to do a lot of logistics. They take the wheelchairs there and everything, so they will often do teams of days with 6 teams and do the whole day.
Because you help coach, or you've been involved in a little bit.
In Burton Wheelchair Rugby Club. So, but yeah, they play maybe once a month. But yeah, it's tournaments rather than just single matches.
I think it's definitely the way to go for us, because I can't imagine we're a long way off being mids-prem
I
contenders.
thought he was going to say wheelchair rugby.
Well,
I thought he was going to say that's the way.
technically-
just sit down.
you can play
Even
for
able-bodied
He can currently play because he has a leg injury.
Yeah.
can you not play able-bodied anyway? It's just isn't there no point to
So rugby league, you can play fully able-bodied, I believe. Rugby,
Is it not the same?
wheelchair
game?
rugby. No, there's wheelchair rugby league and there's wheelchair rugby.
wheelchair rugby league's a bit more like rugby, actually, because wheelchair,
Yeah,
it's like you get tackled, and
you got the flags on your knees.
So what's murder ball then?
that's
That's
the
rugby. The wheelchair rugby.
okay.
Yeah. So that's like on a basketball pitch. And yeah, it's just wheeling over the line. There's no kick a goal with your hand, which is what they do in the rugby league.
And they also play with rugby. They play with oval ball, don't they? In rugby?
Play with over ball. Yeah.
Oh, I like the rugby league stuff when you watch that. Oh, that's quite good.
The rugby league is really exciting. I think the wheelchair rugby itself is a bit more disabled, less able players involved in it, and they're opening up with 5s. But yeah,
It's quite expensive, isn't it, the wheelchairs? Because John Parks used to play rugby union for our team.
yeah, you have to get it sponsored by your, usually sponsored by your disability.
So
What can be like $5,000 or something plus? Can they? Something?
I mean, yeah, the top end ones you can get them for $1,000, but still, that's a big investment for a sport.
Yeah, well, it's especially if you've got some ability issues. I guess it's a lot of money regardless, isn't it? So, moving it back then to the season, what would you like Quantums to do better or different? What would you like to see happen, Jack, next season? What would be your dream?
I think it'd be nice to see maybe 2 or 3 more clubs within Staffordshire, sort of like players from sort of get involved, invested. I actually went and watched a rugby union game the other day, and one of the Burntwood lads this season just joined Telford randomly, and he lives pretty close to us, so there are still people that are seeing it and finding it. So, if we can get a few more people out there and talking to other clubs and that kind of stuff, and throughout the union season now, hopefully we can do a bit of talking, across all aspects. We've got 2 clubs here covered in sort of like in fixtures across Staffordshire. So if we can start talking to more teams and just sort of promoting the idea of it and getting that exposure, if they can come to us, fantastic. But if they just get involved in the sport, I guess that's a win as well. So that's what I'd like to see.
What about you, Chris? Completing sets of 6?
No, I'd actually like to see a development side. I think we're borderline numbers where we're, able to travel with too many substitutes almost at the moment. If we had a development side and we can sort of play people there that are brand new, and then start to push and, like you said, bring more players, because I think the second year players this season were really coming up.
Yeah.
So just keep bringing them out, and it's going to be a slow process. I said to jokingly to Telford the other day that we'll be taking that silverware off you. Give us 2 or 3 years. So that's what I'd like to see.
2 or 3. Yeah, well, Mid-Prem title winners, 3 years.
Is saying that you want to see a development side as well a really polite way of saying that you don't want to see Martin's name on the starting first 6 weeks?
I was never started.
Never started.
I've never started.
I think my favourite banter is when Martin says he's available and then you continue to delete or ignore him and just keep posting the available players list without him.
Yeah, one week there was even a 2-minute video of Martin saying, "I am available this week." Matt Williscroft, please, can you recognise me, please, please, please?
I don't want to spoil the joke about that, but we're both in on it. I think we are both in on it.
Was it the final match day that you have thrown the ball
Oh, God.
and you asked a guy not to tackle you?
No.
Worse.
Or was it
wasn't
oh, I don't want this?
No. There's a couple of different things. I've done. I just said to the guy stood next to me, I said, if this comes to me, come and take it off me straight away. And then unfortunately, it didn't come to me. But then the next play, someone just chucked it at me. So I was like,
And then he threw me the ball when I was just stood still.
You just ready to get nailed. I was like, thanks.
I actually had quite a good in that game. I got a penalty, I think. I had quite a good run. I did.
Oh, I don't know. At one point, you stood next to me and said, "You're going to have to tackle him."
Yes. I think
Not to move.
I think I stood slightly behind. Slightly behind him.
Frequent memories of when you're on, just because of trying to be polite, just hiding behind you without you knowing, because I don't want to say to you, I have no faith you're going to tackle that guy.
Oh,
but also I need to cover your position.
to be honest with you, I would take no. I'd rather you just tell me, give me the reassurance. I've only had to play, as I said, when I've sort of when it's been sort of an emergency situation. Now, before we leave, Matthew, have you got anything there that you think?
Oh, well, I would like really to be saying about our sponsors, because I don't think we've covered the sponsors enough this year. So, should we start in the middle?
Yes.
So, J&I Transport.
So see it on my.
Oh, there you go. So, we've got J&I Transport.
Yeah.
The first one, which is a mate of mine, Ross Gray.
Yes. What is it? Is it a truck? Is it a logistic company?
Well, I'd say so, because it's transport. Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. So, he's got a truck. He's got a couple of trucks. He got big into the old caravan moving at one point. Got threatened a couple of times. I think he's trying to back out the caravan moving. But in all fairness, he's a good lad.
What do we go do?
Sort of this year.
And it's quite a cool logo to have on the front.
What do we go to J&I Transport to get done?
Well, he's up from Driftfield, so he's got a curtain sider. I think he'll take most jobs. He's got a bit of curtain cider, a bit of an Arctic.
Thanks.
Lovely colour scheme. Flatbeds.
Has he got any
pretty much take short jobs, I would have thought.
on the side of his cab?
It's got the Yorkshire Rose.
Oh, okay.
It's Driftfield based, so he's up that way. So yeah, Yorkshire Rose. They have like a white and gold theme.
Nice.
But yeah, lovely guy, great set of hair, very good looking.
There you go.
Yeah, and then on the back. Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Jane.
Shall we go? Oh, where do you want to go?
We've already dealt with quantum comms.
Oh, go on then. We'll go that way then. We'll go then. Novalink, which is Dan Leone's company.
Yes, telecommunications.
Yeah.
So they will install fibre in a variety of settings.
I'm amazed that he's actually spelled the company name right.
Yes, Jack did design the name.
So I proofread it and designed it, so that's why it's correct.
Oh, wow. Yes.
He used to work for Quantums. And he's gone off on his own.
That doesn't look like it's been drawn in crayon at all.
But yeah, so we've managed to. So maybe one day we'll be Staffordshire Novalinkians or something down them lines.
If he sort of takes over Rob's company.
Well, there is a family connection there. So that's Dan Leone, who's my cousin. Hayley Leone is the sister who owns Quantums. And then we've got Dinder's Windows and IB Windows, which is what's Ian's last name? Ian Brown. Ian Brown Windows and Dinder. So
yes. Not of famous Manchester pop band, the Stone Roses, a different guy. He's different Ian Brown.
Oh, and interesting, I seen Dinder this weekend, and he was sat as close to the all-you-can-eat breakfast carvery that you could ever get.
But wasn't eating the carvery?
No, right, he was. He definitely was.
I think Dinder's Windows is quite a good sort of like rhyming name, but he calls it Windows. So it should really be Dinder's Windows.
Yeah.
It'd be better. I mean, I'm not trying to criticise our sponsors' names, but there we go.
And then we've got Duncan Edwards Disco.
Yes, that's not the same Duncan Edwards who was tragically killed in the Munich air disaster in the 1950s.
God,
no, I'm just saying that it's not
such a random.
Yes, he was.
Was this the DJ on the opening day? Was it?
No,
that's his son.
Oh, he was. He's got.
That was my brother.
Oh, there you go. My mum approves, apparently.
Oh, there you go. So Duncan Edwards, that's my father. He, many a time at a school disco, he would be there, and I'd be very embarrassed that my dad's doing the disco. And I'd like to think that at the same time, he was probably very embarrassed with me stood awkwardly on the dance floor, looking at women, not talking to them, or sliding on my knees.
I can't imagine that young.
A very well-known disco in the DJ in the Rugeley and surrounding area, sometimes known as Funky Dunk.
I had hair back then as well. Then we've got Rhinos.
We need to see a picture of that.
They've got Rhinos Products, which they've been a long-term sponsor, haven't they? Michael Wilkes works there.
Yeah, they're based around sort of Cheshire, North Cheshire. They, in effect, supply sort of ancillary equipment to sort of cars, 4x4s. Typically, it's stuff like
Racking
and
for commercial vehicles.
Yeah. And so if you were doing something like you got some sort of business involved, you're carrying equipment. They produce the sort of luggage for that, which is pretty good. And as you say, a long-term supporter of the club, and they're all over socials and LinkedIn. So
yeah, I thought that was a decent sized company. You seem to see them everywhere at the minute.
Yeah.
So they just seem to be doing quite well. Dave D Discos, which is kind of a big deal in discos.
Yes.
And the Staffordshire Stoke.
It's a rival disco.
No, well, actually,
they're interconnected. Yeah. So Dave D Discos. Dave D is married to my sister Kimberly.
Oh, it's a family affair.
So that's another family affair. So I've done quite well this year out of the family.
Dave D's kind of like the king of the disco.
I just imagine Matt's family. It's like Christmas. Matt's family was just like, so what are you doing this summer? Are you sponsoring my
Duncan's the groove. Dave D's the disco.
Matt, what would you like for Christmas? I would like you to sponsor the contest.
That's also another logo that I designed.
I'd like a disco.
See, that one does look like it's drawn with crayons. So okay.
Yeah.
To be fair,
just a stencil.
I think Dave D Discos does quite a lot of stuff. Then they go all on the dance floor, and he's got the whole setup. So
nice.
If you own a disco or surprise party, feel free to hook them up. HRJ Gold Limited.
Yes.
Yep, that's my brother-in-law.
They should be the running female.
Very good at cutting down trees, that company.
Yeah, they do a lot of stuff on the canal
and the railways.
Yeah.
So if you've got a railway and you want some trees cutting down,
we've also got
a
lot of trees at the rugby club that could do with cutting down.
And then after all of the family connections, if you want a divorce, Anson Solicitors, it's one of the many
people.
Ethically and in accordance with the law, yes. But Anson's, that's my firm, and we're offices in Cannock, Lichfield, Sutton Coldfield, and Dudley.
So can we can lose them for next season, right? If it's,
Who?
If it's,
Oh no, we want Ansons. We're all on the arse of our shorts, don't we?
Yeah, we're gonna have them on the shorts.
Ashton Patterson solicitors. You see,
We don't want them. They're a rival. We probably would have taken them over by this time.
To be fair, we can't drop into the second team if he's the main spot, one of the main sponsors.
By the way, I want to be in the non-team.
the non-team.
Yes.
Spectating.
To be fair, actually, at one point during the season, I think I did put on our graphics for social media with the team lineup. And I felt really bad that Mike wasn't on it, so I think I put like club director Martin Derrida at the bottom just to make him feel included.
Yeah, I wanted something a bit more derogatory, I think.
So, well, listen, guys, thank you for coming along to Wolverhampton for this podcast.
So, obviously, this is a good quality studio. What I really want to know is, one word answer, what do you think of our podcast series so far this year?
Mediocre.
Shite.
Viral.
I think it has potential. Or cheap would probably be the way I.
But not until we've come here.
I mean, now we seem to have, I feel a bit giddy.
Well, our next podcast is going to be really shit compared to this.
Well, who's knows?
Yeah, we're supposed to check the budget now for next season.
You're going to have to fleece some more family for some budget.
Well, listen, we're
I need to get a sister-in-law or a brother-in-law who owns a.
you could do with really one of the.
Colin Craig a single. Are they?
Share family.
You need, well, no, he's going to say they need to marry into your family, really.
That's what I'm saying. I'm all for that.
Oh, fair enough. Well, I think that's it, guys. Thanks for coming along, and we'll see you next season. We'll try and do a few podcasts perhaps between now and next year. There's going to be a lot going on as we get ready for next season. Trying to find new sponsors, trying to find more people to marry into the Williscroft family, and
and next year we're going to aim for average, aren't we? And see if we
average would be good.
Yeah, well, that's high.
Yes, average would be good. And also, of course, massive thank you to Urban Flux who've let us. It's like somebody it's like somebody lending you a Ferrari, isn't it?
No, I feel like we're in
or something.
It feels like one of the sort of the set rooms in IKEA when you walk past one of the bedrooms and they've got a bit of a floral wall.
I feel like they're going to have to disinfect the place when I leave.
It's smart. We love it, and thank you for allowing us to sort of use your equipment and everything today. Really do appreciate it. And I think if anyone is, in particular, businesses interested in doing some video content, Urban Flux are the people to get in touch with. They can pretty much do everything from podcasts to straight to video pieces and all sorts of stuff, in particular for where the modern world is, which is it's all about the socials, isn't it?
Yeah, tell us more about all them other stuff.
The other stuff, the social media, or the other stuff that they do.
If they can make this shambles look good, then they must be good.
Hold your breath.